I don't know how to start a video, but I'm Hootless, and this is Hoot Reviews Galaxy of Pen and Paper, which is a game by Behold Studios, the same people who did Chroma Squad. Was released on Steam July 27th, 2017. It's $15 if you want to check it out. It's sort of a team-based, like a party-based role-playing game that has turn-based combat, I think is the best way to describe it. The premise is kind of that you control like the players and dungeon master of like a tabletop role-playing game, and you can go through the campaign, do other kinds of missions. It's a pretty unique system. If you've played Knights of Pen and Paper or seen like anything about Knights of Pen and Paper, then this is essentially that, but in a sci-fi setting. It's very cool. So my subjective score is 4 stars out of 5, which is nearly a perfect score. And the objective score that I have given it, the mechanical score, is 9.25 out of 10 unrounded, or 9 out of 10, which is 4.5 stars out of 5. And I will, I'll explain what I was thinking, but those are the scores. So, it's a pretty good game. You should check it out, basically. The score breakdown is I gave graphics a 9 out of 10. It's got a great style. It's very... I wouldn't say it's unique, but it definitely has a style that they use. It's pretty much all internally consistent, but I docked a single point because the world navigation system that I will try to show on the screen here if I remember is, it's a little bit janky. It looks kind of different. It's not really bad, it's just weird, so I docked only a single point for that. It doesn't really take away too much, it's just, it's different enough that I have to take away a point for it. The sound, I gave it 10 out of 10. It's got great music, great sound effects. Didn't get too repetitive when I was playing it, but if you play for long enough, maybe it will. I don't know. From what I heard, it was pretty good. Not very repetitive, and, pretty upbeat to really get you in the battle mood. The gameplay, I gave Galaxy of Pen and Paper, I almost forgot the name for a second there. I gave Galaxy of Pen and Paper an 8 out of 10 for gameplay. It can be as easy or difficult as you want, basically, because of how the combat works. You get to add enemies to it as you wish. And, if you don't want to have too much difficulty, you could just fight one person over and over and do it that way. Or you can make it really difficult and add everybody at once and then try to fight everything at once and get it done in one shot. And it makes it much harder, so it's nice to have that kind of flexibility. The combat does get a little bit repetitive, though. Especially if you aren't into turn-based combat that much. I particularly am not, which is why this is like a 4-star game instead of a 5-star game. It's not really my cup of tea. But other than that, it's fantastic gameplay. It's really fun, really engaging. There's a lot of customization options that you can do to make your people look different, have different abilities, lots of different paths to go. But again, it does get a little bit repetitive if you aren't really into the turn-based combat thing. And finally, settings. I gave it a 10 out of 10. Originally I was going to give it a 5 out of 10 because there's an excellent selection of resolutions, plus you can do full screen or windowed. There's like volume bars for the sound effects and the music, which are separate, like it's two bars. And there's no graphic settings, and there's no key bindery mapping, which is why originally this was 5 out of 10, but I decided it was unfair because there doesn't need to be graphic settings in something like this. And literally everything is controlled by the mouse, so there's no point in having key bindery mapping. So as a result, 10 out of 10. And average those all together, that's 9.25 out of 10. Or, 9 out of 10, 4.5 stars. So altogether, pretty good. I'd recommend checking out this game if you're into this kind of game. Turn-based combat RPG thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Again, if you have any what's the word? I can't remember. Constructive feedback, I guess. If you have any suggestions for how I can improve this, there we go. If you have any suggestions for how I can improve this series, suggestions for games you want to see reviewed like this, maybe, drop them all in the comments. I read all the comments that I can. But other than that, hopefully you guys all enjoyed this, and I'll see you all next time.